Opinions expressed by talk show hosts or callers on KWRO do not necessarily represent the opinions of the staff and management of Bicoastal Media LLC, its sponsors, subsidiaries, or possibly anyone else on the planet. From high atop the historical hall building in beautiful downtown Coos Bay, it's the Rob Taylor Report. So strap yourself in. Your weekly political therapy session is about to begin. And ladies and gentlemen, here he is, the nearly famous Rob Taylor.
Hey, Coos County, how you doing out there today? I bet you're having a really windy day. I think it's a beautiful day, but we could do a little bit less with the winds. If you're flying a kite, man, I can imagine you're getting quite high on that one. We have a lot going on today. There's a lot in the news. I know since last week, a lot has happened. We were in the middle of a walkout last week, and the Republicans walked out of the Senate, and then they came back in, and then we got stuck with SB or the tax bill, the $2 billion tax bill, and they got rid of SB 978, and they got rid of the vaccination bill that was up there in Salem. And the vaccination bill was pretty ominous, forcing people to take vaccinations, which I don't understand, because if the vaccinations work in the first place and you don't want to catch these ailments, then what you need to do is get vaccinated. And you shouldn't have to worry about people who are not vaccinated. So why would we force anyone to do such things? I don't think we should, and I don't think it should be something even the public schools should be demanding. I know they have a lot of demands already. They already have a lot of demands required just to go to school. They already have mandatory vaccinations. I mean, there's plenty of vaccinations you do, that you have to get when you go to certain jobs, when you go into the military. So I'm one of those who, why should we do any more of that force and use it on school children? I think it's a bad idea. And yes, it's a risk you take in a free country. But all those people out there who say, hey, you're just going to have to buckle down, take those vaccinations because it's for the greater good. I have a lot of Republican friends who've been saying that. And I look at them and I go, well, that's the same argument that people make who want to take away our guns. First thing they say about guns is that you people are at risk of hurting someone else, hurting yourself, hurting your family. And so therefore, for the greater good, we have to take your weapons. And that's a bad strategy for taking away people's freedom because it opens up the door. In fact, it's a prelude to tyranny. It opens up the door for anyone to come in and take any other right just because someone might get hurt. Just because someone might get hurt isn't a reason to start passing laws. They are trying to pass a bill in Salem right now that you do need to be aware of, and that's SB 761. And this is why this bill is important. This bill limits electronic signatures. Now, it's in committee. It's in a public hearing right now. It started at 1 o'clock, so I imagine it's probably getting over with about now, and I hope a whole bunch of people went over and testified against this bill. But what it would do is if you're a petitioner, such as me, I'm a chief petitioner right now. I've got 2 petitions, one in Bandon and one here in Coos County. That's the Second Amendment Sanctuary Ordinance. And on those petitions, I have what they call in electronic signature petition sheets. It's a file that's a single signature sheet. And I can put that file on Facebook or other social media. I can put it on my website, and all a person has to do is click the link, download the file, sign it, fill it out, send it in, and it's done. It's really simple. And in fact, many of you have done that. In fact, if you want to sign the Second Amendment Sanctuary Ordinance, you can go to CoosCountyWatchdog.com and you can click on the little sign of our Second Amendment emblem. And that will take you to a page where it will explain to you how you can click on a link, download the file to get a single signature sheet, fill it out, and send it in to me. It's addressed to me, has my name on it, and all you have to do is put your name on it and sign it as a person who wants to defend your Second Amendment rights. And this is very easily done. And once again, it's over at CoosCountyWatchdog.com. The thing is that I probably gather about 20% of a petition's signatures from these electronic signature sheets. And the reason the Democrats want to get rid of this is because they know that we are utilizing the initiative process very skillfully in the rural areas. That's why we were able to get 10 measures for the Second Amendment sanctuary ordinance on the ballot was because partly in due to those electronic signature sheets. When you're out in a rural area, houses are a lot farther apart from each other. It's hard to collect signatures. So one way to do it is to send a file, and this is the other nice thing about these electronic sheets. Once you get it compiled, you can send that file to a list or to your party members or to your group members, and they can all send the sheet back into you all filled out, and you've got a pretty good size petition started. So the Democrats want to eliminate this because they know we have found a way to use the system against them. And anytime you do that, they want to find a way to make that system more difficult, user-friendly. They want to take a user-friendly system and they want to make it, illegal. So we won't have it, and we'll have to go out and get regular signatures. And by the way, if you want to sign the Second Amendment sanctuary ordinance on a regular petition, there are several places you can go in the county. You can go to Hole in the Wall Gun Shop. You can go over to World Pawn, which is over in North Bend. You can, if you're in Bandon, I believe the Bandon Fabrication has a couple of those up and ready to go. And I believe the Smoke Shop in Coquille also has a couple of those petitions. So if you have some of those desires to get out there and sign that petition, you can go to those places, or you can just simply type on the internet, the Coos County Watchdog website, CoosCountyWatchdog.com, and download a petition yourself as long as it's illegal, as long as it is legal now. As soon as it becomes illegal, of course, I won't be able to do that for any future referendums or for initiatives. And that's going to be very hurtful for the campaigns because I utilize these electronic signatures because I can get onto Facebook and I can go to Facebook pages like What's Happening Coos County or the Bandon one or the one in Coquille, and I can post that filing on there and people can sign it and send it in. See how easy that is? But no, they want to take that away. Now, I just mentioned my sponsors. One of them was Hole in the Wall Gun Store, which is on Highway 101, and I'd recommend everyone to get out there because they have some Oregon pushback signs. They're the Oregon pushback signs that you see hanging up all over I-5 and up and down the coast here, which has the OregonPushback.com website, which gives all the legislation, gun legislation that's coming out of Salem. But he has some of those signs to give away, and you need to get over there if you want to put those signs up in your yard. He's got a couple of, I think they're like 4x4s, 4 foot by 4 foot. And then he's got a couple of yard signs. So I'd recommend if you want to get a couple of those signs and show your support for the Second Amendment, get over to Hole in the Wall Gun Store. And by the way, he still has cannon fuse for sale. That's right. Premium cannon fuse now in stock. It has a 24-second burn rate and it is selling for 50 cents a foot. Pretty good stuff. Also, if you want to sign this, then another one of my excellent sponsors, World Pawn Exchange. I just went over there last week and they told me they had an incredible selection of jewelry, and they were right. I recommend if you are looking for a special Mother's Day gift or a Father's Day gift, I guess Mother's Day has already passed, but if you're looking for an anniversary gift or whatever, go over to World Pawn. They have an incredible amount of jewelry in selection. They also have a variety amount of firearms for sale right now as well. It looks like we're getting to the time limit where I'm going to have to take a break. So with that, I'll be right back.
Hi, Danny at Far West Tire and Auto here. Sometimes deer like to jaywalk, or even once in a while a basketball forgets to look both ways before bouncing across the street. When those moments happen, be ready for the stop with the Michelin Premier All-Season Tire, a tire design with more performance in mind. Far West Tire and Auto on Highway 101 Coos Bay. Always the right tire, always the right price.
I'm the third generation of our family-owned and operated business, Ragin' Coffee Company. For a quarter of a century, we have been providing some of the best coffee around. We are NOP certified organic by Oregon Till since 2007. We make it easy by offering free shipping from our website, RagingCoffeeCo.com. That's RAYJEN CoffeeCo.com. You can find our selection of certified organic coffee in bulk from Bailey's Health Food Center in North Bend. Give it a try. Ragin' Coffee. You'll be hooked.
The RV business is booming at the Boomin' Y, and Gibbs RV is looking for nice pre-owned RVs to consign or buy. Gibbs RV makes it so simple. They will come to your location, give you a fair appraisal, and help take care of all the paperwork. It doesn't get any easier than that. So let the professionals at Gibbs RV take the hassle out of selling or consigning your RV. Stop by and see them today at 1845 Ocean Boulevard in Coos Bay by the Big Boomin' Y in Empire, or check them out at gibbsrv.com.
Stop in today to the all-new one-stop gun shop, Hole in the Wall Gun Shop in Coos Bay. Your area leader in quality firearms. Hole in the Wall Gun Shop proudly features the top brands of new and used handguns, hunting rifles, black rifles, antique and collectible guns, ammo, mace, and more. Gun cleaning and repair, expert advice, and handgun safety classes for concealed carry permits are offered too. So stop into Hole in the Wall Gun Shop across from Cumion's on Highway 101 South in Coos Bay. We buy, sell, or trade.
We're back in session. It's the Rob Taylor Report. And here he is, Rob Taylor.
Hey, Coos County. Thank you for joining me today on a beautiful, windy Monday. I don't know if you knew about this, but Kate Brown, she's going to take a little bit more money from you. That's right. The legislature passed that $2 billion sales tax, and it is a sales tax. Do not be fooled. There are some Oregonians, though, who are planning to repeal the $2 billion sales tax after Kate Brown has signed it. The sources at the state capitol are revealing that a coalition of businesses, small business friendly groups, and free enterprise friendly organizations are laying out a projected plan for a referendum repeal petition drive. As with any referendum petition drive, there are some big decisions on the legal language of the petition that would precede any launch or announcement. And I hope they be announcing that soon, because I will definitely get a copy of that petition, and I know we'll get that circulating around here. Next week, I'm going to try to get a guest on who's going to talk about the recall of Governor Kate Brown. We cannot recall her until she's been into office 6 months, and so there is a group out there. I think they're serious about it. I've heard this several times before. You never want to get too sure about anything until you have a confirmation on it. So I'm not too sure whether it's going to happen, but if it does, we'll have a guest on next week and we'll see how that goes. I know many of you are very upset with the legislature. They're still trying to take away your right to own guns. It's a fact. Cannot deny it. Just look at the laws that they have not passed but are trying to pass. And they just made a deal with the Republicans after that walkout for this $2 billion tax that they would not pass SB 978. Of course, the first thing they did was talk about other gun bills they may consider between now and June 30th, which that is the end of the session, is June 30th. But so we are going to be having a Second Amendment rally. Of course, I couldn't find any facilities available and in the month of June. Forget the month of May. It was just too late for that. So it's all the way out to July that I finally found some place that I can throw this event. It had to be big enough space so I could have at least a couple of hundred people there. And I think we're going to be doing this at the North Bend Community Center. I've been talking to Rose over at North Bend trying to get that rented out, and she's supposed to be sending me some papers on that. So if you hear me, Rose, give me those papers. I would like to fill that out and rent your wonderful facility in North Bend. But what we're going to do is we're going to get Joey Gibson from Patriot Prayer, and we're going to have our own Patriot Prayer right after we have a Second Amendment rally. I figure we'll do this on a Saturday. Saturday in the afternoon, we'll go over there to the Coos Bay Boardwalk, and we'll have a Second Amendment rally for a couple of hours. And then later on, we'll head on over to the North Bend Community Center to listen to Joey Gibson and some other speakers with the Patriot Prayer. And we're going to have a Patriot Prayer potluck. I think that's what we're going to do with that. You know, normally I like to have a barbecue, but I found out if we cook it and provide the food, then we have to have somebody come out and have a special food handler's license. So we said, screw that. We're just going to have a potluck. So that's what we're planning for July. Now, this is all tentative, and I will need some help with this. So if you want to volunteer and you want to get involved, with an event that's going to be really cool, then give me a call here at the radio stations, 541-267-2124. You can come live on the air and let me know, or you can just call over here at the office of the radio stations and let them know that you want to be a volunteer, and I'm sure they'll get me the message. Or you can just send me an email to cooscountywatchdog@gmail.com. Once again, if you want to be a volunteer for our Patriot Prayer, just send me an email to CoosCountyWatchdog@gmail.com, and I can take care of that. So this, I hope they get the repeal on that $2 billion. That'd be absolutely ridiculous that they don't do it. I mean, we're going to suffer a great deal. Each family, I think, was estimated we're going to pay about $500 to $600 a year more for this. Can you afford that? Can you afford more carbon tax? Because they're getting ready to plan that. That's another bill. I believe that's HB 2020 or SB 2020, one of the two. But it's getting a little ridiculous. Every time their only answer is never cut some of the agencies, never cut some of the budget. No, the answer is always we need to take more of your money. I mean, they're like teenagers. They're like the teenagers who always keeps losing their jacket, and they always keep coming back every couple of weeks. Dad, I lost my jacket. Well, what did you do with the jacket I bought for you last week? Oh, I left it on the bus. Well, guess what? You got to go cold. Well, that's what we should be doing with our government. We should be letting them sit out in the cold. They don't do much for us. I think it's time that we show them the same courtesy. One of the things that I found interesting last couple of weeks, maybe last couple of months, is I noticed the trolley in Bandon is gone. So I asked around about it. No one really knew. Then someone told me, and this is just a rumor, and I couldn't substantiate it because, I asked the mayor and I asked one of the counselors, and I sent an email over to both of them. That's Mayor Shamhorn and Counselor Brian Vick, and the manager, Robert Mossam. I sent an email asking them, what's going on with the trolley? Where is it? And they haven't responded to me, but a little bird was telling me that they had a complaint, an ADA complaint on it, and that's why the trolley isn't around. So if that's true, would someone call me and verify for me what happened to the trolley? Because I'm just a little bit curious about that. One of the things that we finally defeated in Bandon was that swimming pool. But here was an interesting survey that I saw coming out, and I hope the people of Bandon who are opposed to this swimming pool hear this, because you'll be happy to know that a lot of people are doing a lot of disgusting things in the swimming pool. That's right. Have you ever used swimming pools as an alternative to showering? Well, guess what? 51% of Americans have. And here's the article on this. This is the study. Even though 64% of Americans know pool chemicals do not eliminate the need to shower, people continue to do it anyway. According to the new survey presented by the Water Quality and Health Council, 51% of Americans reported using a swimming pool as a communal bathtub. Oh, God, that's disgusting. Really? Using the pool as an alternative to showering or rinsing off after engaging in exercise or yard work. Oh, gross. You guys are out there doing yard work and exercising, and then you're jumping in the pool. So the rest of us get to join in on your sweat bath there. That's nice. But it even gets worse. The 2019 Healthy Pool Survey released in April was conducted online by Sachs Media Group, that is, and measured perceptions and behaviors related to swimming pools and public health. The organization interviewed 3,100 American adults on April 12th and 13th, and the survey has a margin error plus of 2.7% with a 95% confidence level. Yeah, right. We know how surveys go. The survey was nationally representative of American adults in terms of age, race, gender, income, and region. The survey comes as experts from the council, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and the Pool and Hot Tub Alliance. There's a Pool and Hot Tub Alliance? Shorty robes for everyone. Well, they are working to educate the public on healthy and safe swimming. Along with not showering before entering the pool, 40% of Americans admitted that they have been in the pool as an adult or has peed in the pool as an adult. That's 40%. Wait, what? 40% of Americans admitted to peeing in the pool? Ew! What the heck's the matter with you? And by the way, urine, it reacts with the chlorine, reducing the amount the chemical kills the other germs. That means the more you pee, the less protection we have from the germs that are already there. And get this, the survey also revealed that 24% of Americans would go in a pool within 1 hour after having diarrhea. Ew. It's just getting worse. 48% have reported that they never shower before swimming. Gee, why do you think they put the showers on the side of the pool in the first place? But most people did not know that pool chemistry can be impacted by personal care items such as makeup and deodorant. Oh, what? You didn't think putting all those chemicals on your body was going to infect the water when you jumped in? So I think you're probably pretty much better off, Bandon, without having that petri dish of pee that you were going to be voting on and didn't because they decided to do a survey instead of an actual vote. And thank goodness, even though the survey came out in favor of the people who supported the pool, they were smart enough to know to kill the idea. And probably because nobody wants to go swimming in a vat of urine. How disgusting. Next week is a very good day for anyone who is a veteran, especially if you're not fighting in the wars. We've had a lot of sacrifices going through our state. A lot of people gave up a lot of sacrifice, gave up their life, gave up parts of their body so we can have freedom. They did this so I can be on the radio talking to you. Well, I'm sure they didn't just for that, but I'm sure they did it so we can all have that same freedom that we share today. And I hope that all of you celebrate Memorial Day because it should show us some of our highest ideals. The ideal of sacrifice, the ideal that there is something greater than oneself, and that sometimes you have to go and participate in those events. They're historical events. The United States, I don't know if you know this, we lost more than 4,000 sons and daughters in World War II. That's 400,000 people we lost in World War II. 2,826 of them were from Oregon. We lost 54,246 American service members who gave their lives in Korea, and 287 of those men were Oregonians. America lost 58,209 service members in Vietnam, and 791 of them was from our state. In Iraq and Afghanistan, we lost 6,713 American service members, and 142 of those brave soldiers was from right here in Oregon. I hope you have an excellent Memorial Day and get out there and not only celebrate it, find some military service member, whether current or retired, to celebrate it with, because they are the ones who deserve it. You know, it used to make me mad. We'd always have a day off on our business. We would get a day off because of the business that we were in. But a lot of people, a lot of servicemen, they don't even get the days off for Monday. Yet you can't even cash a check at the bank. And these guys, they're having to suffer all the time with a lot of the conditions that they contracted because they were out sacrificing for us. So I hope you remember that next week. And I don't know if we're going to have a show. I got to talk to my boss about that. We may have to do some special Friday show, so I'll let you know a little bit later. I'll have to go back and ask the manager of the station how that works out, and I'll let you know if we're going to have a show next Monday or if it's going to be on a special Friday edition. But until I figure that out, I guess we're going to go to a commercial, and with that, we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Rich Waters for Jim Vick Auto Sales. For those of you that know me, you know that my family and I have dealt with Jim Vick for more years than we'd like to admit. I've always known Jim as a look you in the eye and deal on a handshake kind of guy. You may have heard that Jim retired recently, but I'm here to set the record straight. Jim is still selling great-looking, clean, exclusive cars at his new location just down the street from his former location. He's now at 2091 Broadway, and he keeps a display of his best cars right there for you to see and drive. Let my friend Jim Vick put you in the right car on your budget. Jim Vick Auto Sales, now at 2091 Broadway in North Bend. Jim will work with you all the way to make sure you have the car and the deal you want. As Jim Vick himself would say, wait a minute. Here he is to say it himself.
Remember, if I can't save you money, I don't deserve your business.
Jim Vick Auto Sales.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Genucel right now is having their 50% off limited time sale. It's their half price clearance sale. And if you order Genucel to get rid of bags and puffiness under your eyes, you'll also get Chamonix's brand new Platinum Tan Enhancing Body Lotion. That's a free gift. Perfect hydration, tan, and protection to rejuvenate, hydrate, maintain that bright summer glow with a lotion unlike anything you can buy in any store. So sit back, relax, enjoy the beach with the best looking skin possible and no bags or puffiness under your eyes. They're gone. Everybody I know that's tried Genucel from Chamonix loves it, swears by it. Linda, Lauren, and so many others. Call now, 800-SKIN-509, 800-SKIN-509, guaranteed to work in 12 hours. Your money back guaranteed, no risk to you. You'll also get the Platinum Tan Enhancing Body Lotion free while supplies last. And if you call now, shipping is free. It's 800-SKIN-509. It's the half-price summer clearance sale at Genucel.com. 1-800-SKIN-509 from our friends at Chamonix and Genucel.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Ken Fisher, founder and executive chairman of Fisher Investments.
We don't sell annuities. We'll never sell annuities. Most annuities have nosebleed level fees, don't do what the customer thinks they do, have tremendous tax problems, are hard to get out of once you're in them, and are extremely confusing.
Don't let the sound of guaranteed income lead you to financial headache. Call now for your free report, Annuity Insights, and find out why legendary money manager Ken Fisher hates annuities. Call 1-800-770-3377 and see what you might be getting into.
Anything you want to do with annuities, there's a better way to do. If you have more than $500,000 to invest, talk to us.
Get your free report, Annuity Insights, and find out the 9 questions every annuity investor should ask. Call now, 1-800-770-3377. That's 1-800-770-3377.
There's a common assumption about identity theft. A lot of people believe it's just credit card fraud, but credit card fraud isn't the only form of identity theft. And if you're just protecting your identity by monitoring your credit and checking your bank statements, well, you could miss some forms of identity theft. Like, for example, your information being for sale on the dark web. That means somebody getting an online payday loan in your name, or even someone draining your 401k. Now, thank God there's LifeLock. Now, they use proprietary technology to detect and alert you to a wide range of identity threats. You have a problem, one of their U.S.-based restoration specialists will work to fix it. Now, we can't prevent all identity theft, monitor every transaction, but with LifeLock.com, you can see more than you'd see by just monitoring your credit. Join now. You get a 10% discount just by visiting LifeLock.com/Hannity, or just call 1-800-LifeLock. Use the promo code Hannity. LifeLock.com/Hannity and save 10%.
We're back in session. It's the Rob Taylor Report. And here he is, Rob Taylor.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you being here with us. And we're going to go out to Tim at Tom and Gigs. Tim, how you doing?
Doing great, man. Doing great.
Are you getting blown away out there?
Oh, that's not too bad, actually. I mean, this is a sunshine quarter bay. We're in a zone right here, circle.
The only one in Oregon, right?
Just about, man. But no, it's always good here, man. It don't matter rain, shine, or snow. Which we can barely live with, but we're here. It's open. We're ready to do business. So anybody that needs something done, give us a call or swing by, and we'll take a look at your exhaust if it's falling off or got a clunk in your front end. We'll get in there and take a look at it and get it up on a rack and take a look. If you got a drivability issue, we have state-of-the-art alignment stuff, and Austin's awesome on the alignments. The guy's really amazing. He's learned so much, and he really enjoys trying to find a problem and fix the problem. And usually a lot of times that doesn't happen in other places. So,
well, once they get good at it, once they get good at that machine, it's incredible how accurate they can be with those things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just anyway, sorry about that. Tell somebody something. Sorry.
That's okay.
But yeah, no, it's just you got to have people that want to do the job. I mean, you can have all the equipment in the world. If you have a guy that knows how to use it or wants to.
Yeah.
It's all about attitude and wanting to do a good job. And that's why I guess I've always liked the challenge of exhaust. It's just kind of something I started doing a long time ago, and I enjoy doing it. It's always fun to do things and do it. I like to do it better than everybody else. That's what I like to do. I want to do it right, do it good. So, I have problems. We've got different ways to do everything, and so you give people choices too. Say especially in the accessory stuff. Like say toolboxes. You can buy an expensive toolbox. You can buy an economical toolbox. Here's why this is good. And this one here, and there's just different options on everything that you can do to maybe work within your budget. So, not that everything's expensive.
Right.
it just depends on how much you want to spend. But we try to give people those options, or they maybe don't get it somewhere else. So, shocks, that's a very good example right there. You can either buy some Bilsteins that are about double the cost of a regular Monroe shock, but one's going to last a lot longer, one's going to work a lot better. So in the end, a lot of times it pays to buy a better product because it's going to last longer. It's going to save you money, actually. So,
and that's the nice thing about America is because we are a capitalist society, people of all spectrums of the economic system can afford some type of toolbox to go out and make money for their family.
Yep, absolutely. If a mechanic wants to buy a toolbox, it's $10,000-$11,000 just for a box, and then you got to buy the tools to go with it. I think I'd rather be a doctor, because all you need is a scalpel, right? I mean, that's all you need. So.
Right.
But it's amazing because it takes a lot of knowledge to be a mechanic nowadays. It really does. All the models and changes during every year or 6 months. Guys got to constantly go to school, and we got Quill out there now. He's learning all the time, and there again is another guy that wants to learn, and nobody knows everything. So, except for me, no, I don't. There's only one person who knows everything. That's the man upstairs. But if you need advice on anything like that, just give us a call down here. Have Josh check a lift kit out for you, whatever it is. He'll do the research. It may take a little while to do it sometimes, but try to get you the right answer. So, easy to find us out here too at 135 South Shoneman, same place we've been here since 1969 in this building, and just one block past the Boom and Y, just hanging left right behind the Moe's Car Wash there. And my quote of the day is actually from a guy named Ronald Reagan. He says, "I've wondered at times about what the Ten Commandments would look like if Moses had run them through the U.S. Congress." So, in other words, God's word is the only true word. That's what we need to trust in. Now, those guys need to probably read that Bible and maybe hold themselves accountable to their actions a little bit. It's just amazing. So we just keep praying to him for good things to happen,
All right.
Some orange suits for some people named Clinton and all those folks, so.
We can only hope.
Anyway, buddy, I appreciate you guys. Great show. And we'll keep listening, and I'll get off here so you can do some talking.
You got it, man. Thank you so much. He was talking about good employees, and good employees are hard to find. And if you do find a good employee, take care of them, because I can tell you right now, there isn't a lot of people who seem to be really genuine about doing a good job. And that was something that I never understood. If you're going to do a job, try to be the best that you can at what you're doing. And it's not about getting awards or even becoming rich, even though if you get a great skill, you can become a lot wealthier. But it's about doing the right thing that makes you feel better. It's almost a selfish endeavor. I would say it's a totally selfish endeavor to want to do the best job that you can do because you want to be able to say you can do it. And that's something that, if you want to be someone who loves themselves, do the best job that you can and do the best job for your employers. And speaking of jobs, Oregon has added 3,300 jobs in April. Doesn't sound like a lot, but the overall picture, it's quite incredible. In fact, let me explain this to you. Oregon's total non-farm payroll employment rose 3,300 in April, following a gain of 6,500 jobs in March. Monthly gains were strongest in healthcare and social assistance and in leisure and hospitality, which added 1,000 jobs. Several other major industries added at least 500 jobs, which was manufacturing added 700, government added 600, and construction 500. Only one major industry shed a substantial number of jobs. Professional and business services dropped 1,000 jobs. Well, that may not be such a bad thing. But looking at a longer-term trends, Oregon's economic growth appears to have accelerated. Since April of 2018, total payroll employment is up 48,200 jobs, or 2.5%. Job gains were relatively weak, averaging 2,300 per month during mid-2017 through mid-2018. But more recently, job growth has averaged about 5,400 jobs per month since September of 2018. The most rapid gains over the past year were in transportation, warehousing, utilities, and construction. Job gains were widespread, with 6 other major industries adding between 2.3% and 3.5% to their job base in the last 12 months. Job totals for recent months were revised upward substantially, indicating more rapid hiring in Oregon in 2018 and earlier this year. But the total non-farm employment was revised upward approximately 10,000 jobs for each month in December 2018 through 2019. So these upward revisions were most pronounced in professional and business services. Construction, transportation, warehouse and utilities, retail trade, and finance followed. But this is the thing. Oregon's unemployment rate was essentially unchanged at 4.3% in April, and it was 4.4% in March. Oregon's unemployment rate has held within a tight range between 4.0% and 4.4% for the past 2.5 years since November of 2016. Sounds like we've had a really good increase since November 2016. And what happened in November 2016? Well, let's think. Oh yeah, I remember. Donald Trump became president and made America great again. Even this communist state, Oregon. Yep, he pulled us out of the depths with some of his getting rid of regulations, lowering taxation. That's fact. That's a fact, because last year we worked much longer, 5 days longer to pay the government, and this year we worked 5 days less. Thanks to Donald Trump. That's how you make America great again. So my whole point is that Oregon, even though we're a socialist haven with all the taxes and all the regulations we have, even in this economy, we're still at an average of a 4.0 to 4.4% in unemployment. That is incredible considering the 8 years that we lived under Obama. At some point, we were almost at 13 to 15% unemployment in some of these counties at the height of the recession. Now we have more participation and we have much less unemployment. And much of that is due to our president, Donald Trump. And with that, I think we're going to have a giveaway. That's right. My own way to make America great again. And I'll tell you what, the owner of this restaurant, the owner of McDonald's, he's a friend of mine, and he would like to make America great again, too. He's one of those who's a very patriotic man, and he has a great restaurant where you can go and get service with a smile, and they always have clean restrooms. He has 4 of those restaurants, one in Reedsport, one up in Walmart, one in North Bend, and one on 101 here in Coos Bay. Well, if you would like to win a free breakfast sandwich of your choice from McDonald's, or a free small McCafe beverage, or a free choice of your dessert, and a page of buy one, get one free coupons, all you have to do is be the third caller at 541-267-2124, and I'll be right back.
Spraying in for your next service or repair at Bice Auto. They specialize in engine diagnostics, performance, brakes, steering, and suspension, alignments, canopies, exhaust services, accessories, and more. Take care of your vehicle, and it will take care of you. For your car, truck, or motorhome, call Bice Auto for all your maintenance needs. Bice Auto, 269-2700.
Looking for a new or used firearm? You should get to know the friendly folks at World Pawn Exchange. Located at 1980 Sherman in downtown North Bend, World Pawn Exchange buys, sells, and trades firearms of all types. And with their extensive, ever-changing inventory, they could have just the right firearm for you. If they don't have that gun that you want in stock, they'll be more than happy to special order it for you. World Pawn Exchange in downtown North Bend, where you'll find more than you can possibly imagine.
There's no reason to guess. The verdict is in, and the solid winner continues to be Herbal Choices.
I think everyone knows why Herbal Choices is the leader.
You and I see Herbal Choices the same way, like a part of our family. They know me when I come in, and they're always happy to show me all that's new, including Jim Belushi's new harvest.
Hi, Jim Belushi here. My Belushi Farms private vault is exclusively here, Southern Oregon coast at Herbal Choices. Check it out. It's the only choice.
And no matter where you are, Herbal Choices is close by. Coos Bay, Charleston, and Bandon. They always keep me updated on their website at www.theherbalchoices.com.
No one can compete with Herbal Choices prices. They now have so many locations that they buy large quantities and pass the savings along to their customers. It's their people, friendly, always ready to help with knowledgeable answers. It's like dealing with family.
Do not operate a vehicle under the influence of marijuana. For use by people 21 and older, keep out of the reach of children.
We're back in session. It's the Rob Taylor Report. And here he is, Rob Taylor.
Hey, everyone. Thank you for calling in. Thank you, Ivana. You won the contest. If you want to call in and talk on the show because you have a political issue you want to deal with, please give us a call at 541-267-2124. I know there's a lot of things going on. I had a gentleman email me complaining about North Bend and their $30 fee that they've added to their utilities. He's not very happy with that. So anything you want to call in and talk about, please do. We're more than welcome. This is a venue that's for the people to utilize, and you can utilize it very easily by giving us a call at 541-267-2124. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm getting a special news report here. That's right. The news is reporting that Bette Midler and Alyssa Milano are continuing their week-long sex strike for women's rights. So oh, wait, we've got another news report. Let's see, the Center for Disease Control is reporting that the spread of herpes has dropped significantly over the past 7 days. Well, correlation, causation, I don't know. You know, it's funny, I heard Alyssa Milano threatening a sex strike, and I thought, well, that's great, except that most women are independent women, and they're not going to follow someone just because some actress says that they should have a sex strike because we want to have more abortions. Okay, I don't know. I don't think Melissa thought this through, because if you have less sex, you're going to have no babies, and with no babies, you won't have any abortions. So look, they both win. But you think about it, this would only affect single guys who are, in their 20s. You know what I mean? This isn't, a couple of liberal women are going to keep it from single guys. But I'm thinking, Bette Midler, if she's threatening her husband with no sex, all I can think of is he probably won't even know for 2 months until it starts. That's the first thing, because he ain't going to figure that out. But it's probably something he's been asking for years. So I didn't understand why that was such a threat from Bette Midler. If she's threatening not to have sex, that's a good thing for all of America. And on that same note, the United States has a declining fertility rate. I thought this was a very incredible study that came out just recently. But part of the problem is that many of the women may be just delaying to have children, but America's fertility rate is in steady decline. That's what we're showing. That's right. In 2018, it dipped to an all-time low, down 2% from the year before, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The report was published Wednesday. American women are now predicted to have an average of 1.73 children over their lifetime. Well, that's going to be painful for the second child. The absolute number of births has fallen to a historic low. Roughly 3.8 million babies were born in the United States last year, the smallest tally since 1986, when the country was just starting to emerge from a recession. Without enough new babies, as the theory goes, America's demographic makeup will tip further toward older generations whose members will grow needier and less productive with age. Well, a shrinking workforce could, over time, make this imbalance all the more unsustainable. But the trends revealed by the new report are more complex than just a declining fertility rate. And it may just be that people are waiting to put off marriage, The fact is that we're getting to be older society and people are living longer. And you may not want to get married in your 30s. You want to maybe, go out and sow a couple of those wild oats. But the teen birth rate dropped by 7% from 2017 to 2018, according to the CDC's analysis. Meanwhile, the rate for women ages 30 through 34 was virtually unchanged, and their counterparts in their late 30s and early 40s experienced a slight uptick in birth rates, which is, like I said, maybe people are just waiting to have kids, which may not be such a bad thing, because the older a woman is when she has her first child, the better the child's socioeconomic outcome will be. There are other reasons women are delaying having children, including the massive undersupply of men who are university educated and committed to fidelity, marriage, and parenthood. And I want to address that issue. Marriage isn't something that it's always cracked up to be. And I think that we have gone about this in society a little bit wrong. We give out marriage license. I don't know why my wife has to have a marriage license for me. I mean, she's got a marriage license for the dog. She's got a license for the car, and she has to have a license for me. I'm not sure I understand that, but that's the way the government is, and I don't believe that people should ask for a license or have to ask permission to do something that's a God-given right or a right given to you by your Creator. So therefore, I'm one of those who believes in marriage contracts, and that's what I think we should have done from a long time in this country, start entering into marriage contracts where young men, and especially young men, but young women too, they can sit down at the table before they get married and they can look at all the terms to the agreement. Right now, the brochure is a bunch of BS. They show the brochure to all these young people. Oh, love, marriage, it's so wonderful. But they never talk about the commitment, about the hardship, about the times that you will have all kinds of trouble, the times when she won't let you watch the Super Bowl, the times when you won't take out the trash. You know what I'm talking about? There's a lot of things to do with marriage, and I think younger guys, especially in their 20s, especially this generation, I think they're seeing that. And I think that they're seeing many of us older guys who are now living so much further more than the last couple of generations. I mean, and we're doing so much more, it seems, the older we get. I mean, look at the Rolling Stones, Mick Jagger. You know, the man is in his mid-70s, and he's out there still jamming on the stage. So I think a lot of young men are just thinking that they don't want to get married because they want to, well, be a little more selfish and start looking into their own careers or doing things that pleasures them and not the family. So I think that's part of the problem with this decrease in the fertility rate. And it may be something that also might be an evolution trait. Maybe it's evolution taking care of overpopulation. Maybe societies that go further along, such as America and many of the other nations across this world, maybe because we've developed to a point where we don't need as many children. I know that's very much true for America. I mean, if you look back at my grandparents, on one side of the family, on my father's side, he had 9 brothers and sisters. On my mother's side, she had 8 brothers and sisters. Now, you go back one generation before that, they had children in the teens. One had 11 children, and my great-great-grandparents, and the other one had 13 children. So there's a lot to look at when you're comparing, generation to generation. We're just living longer, and that may be the reason why there's not a lot of people hooking up out there. Maybe it's video games. Who knows? I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to something that's been going on. I'm sure you have. I don't like to talk about it too much on this show because you'll get it covered before and after I come on the air, and that's the Donald Trump situation that's going on with this witch hunt, Russia collusion. I got news for you. Russia has been interfering with America since Catherine the Great was the czaress of Russia, okay? That was back in 1796, I think it was she last reigned. And even back then, they were trying to interfere with our elections, and so has every other major country in the world. England, Spain, when it was a major country, France, China, all of them have always tried to interfere with our elections. This is nothing new. But GOP Representative Amash, his name is Justin Amash, becomes the first Republican to say Trump engaged in impeachable conduct. Now, I don't know where he got this. I've read through some of the Mueller report. It's a pretty thorough document, and I've read through the summary of it, and I understand where he might be coming from, but I don't agree with him. But this Michigan Republican, Justin Amash, said Saturday that he concluded President Donald Trump committed impeachable conduct and accused Attorney General William Barr of intentionally misleading the public. Now, I'm not a big fan of William Barr. Okay, Bill Barr has his own baggage that he brought along with the office. But I can tell you right now, I just don't see this guy being a pinch hitter for old Donald Trump. I just don't see this guy being a lackey for Donald Trump. I think this guy is pretty much his own man, but Amash's comments recommending Congress pursue obstruction of justice charges against Trump were the first instance of a sitting Republican in Congress saying the president's conduct meets the threshold of impeachment. Now, that's weird because nobody did what Donald Trump asked him to do. Sure, he asked some of his top aides to go and do some things that they didn't do. And if they didn't do them, then there was no crime committed. Donald Trump can ask them to do anything within reason. And that's all he was doing. Maybe it wasn't even to the point of him asking them to do it, but more even a suggestion, because I've asked employees if they would do something and got the recommendation, well, that's probably not a good idea, and here's why. And I thank goodness that there are employees out there who are just not yes men. But Amash is a rare
who's turning them in. So you don't know if the person even knows you. If a robber is driving down the street and decides, oh, man, I'm going to do that house, then he looks up on Zillow who owns that house, calls the police, say, this person threatened me. They come take your guns. And by the time you get them back, he's already broken into your house and taken everything and maybe killed you. I mean, that's short and sweet, but yeah.
Right. And you know, that was why I thought it was very interesting that you came up with a very interesting case to kind of show that the police have no responsibility whatsoever to protect the citizens in all reality.
That's exactly why I chose this case. It was like, wow, this is perfect for the red flag law.
Now, could you go ahead and, I know it's kind of it's a pretty rough case, but could you go ahead and explain to us what had happened and the case that we're referring to?
Okay, it was a case in Washington, D.C., and there were 3 women that lived in a rooming house together in Northwest Washington, D.C., which is the nice part of Washington, D.C., by the way.
Right.
And, well, you have to say that because, and 2 of them were sharing a room on the second floor, and another woman was downstairs, and people broke into the house, and the 2 that were upstairs climbed out of window. Well, they first called the police, and the police said, we'll send somebody right out. And they climbed out a window to hide, and they could hear the woman screaming down below. And the police said, you know, we're sending somebody, but they called in, I think, a code 2 instead of a code 1 or whatever it's called, so it wasn't really that important. And they saw police cars drive by, and police even went up to the door, but nobody answered the door, so they left. And so then they called back, you know, saying this woman was being, who knows what, assaulted by, you know, they didn't know all this stuff. And the guy says, oh, I'll call them out again, but they never called them out again. This is just unbelievable. And so then when they saw 4 police cruisers driving by, they thought, oh, they must be here. So they ran downstairs to help their friend, and they got captured by these men that were raping and assaulting the other person, and they were kidnapped over to these men's apartment, and I forget for how many hours they were raped, they were sodomized, they were forced to have sex with each other, they were beaten. I mean, let's face it, these women were so traumatized, I can't even imagine it. And then they decided to use the Civil Rights Act,
right,
to sue the D.C. Police Department.
The D.C. Police Department. Yeah, and I saw that was 42 U.S. Code 1983, civil action for deprivation of rights.
Exactly. And it says every person who's under the color of any statute, ordinance, regulation, custom, or usage of any state or territory subjects or causes to be subjected any citizen of the United States or other person within the jurisdiction thereof to the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities secured by the Constitution and laws shall be liable to the party injured in an action at law. And it goes on, shall be liable. And the case I just told you about, and I didn't, I could have it would have taken too long to read, but wouldn't you consider they were liable? The people that answered the phones, the police that went up to the door.
Yes.
But, and I say in this code, it does have a but. It is perceived to be in the code in the courts today. They said that the trial judges held that the police were under no specific legal duty to provide protection to the individuals who are suing the police department. It goes right back to what the sheriff told me in Montana. You know, they aren't there to protect you. They are just there to come in and clean up the mess afterwards.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And as far as prevention, there's only so much that the police can do. And once the crime has started, the only thing they can do is hopefully show up in time to prevent it. But that's more than likely never the scenario. So the only thing that a lot of times people have to protect themselves is firearms, which is kind of ironic now that they've got these red flag laws. They're trying to disarm a lot of people who really are basically targets of an angry relative or a friend who may just want to get even with them.
Exactly, and people got to understand that we live in such an upside down world today. I'm writing another article, and I was mentioning what life was like in the 50s when kids rode their bikes all the time, and you didn't go home till it was dark and time for dinner and all that. And you can't do that today, anywhere. I mean, we just live in such a horrible world, and you have to assume. And part of the thing I believe is people are being programmed to become animals. They're losing their moral compass because we've allowed moral relativity to rule the day, and your morals can be opposite of my morals, and it doesn't matter whichever one of us is bigger.
Right.
Boss.
Right. And that's why in essence we have a constitution that defines and delineates some of those rights to be protected. And that's what I've always said about the government. The government is not there to protect you. The government is supposed to protect you from having your rights violated if they can. And a lot of times, like you said, it's only a after the fact reactionary type thing. So there's only so much you can do to prevent it. But the one way that we have to prevent crimes from happening is that we have a Second Amendment in this country, and if everyone is presumed to be armed, then it's more or less likely that you would be a victim of a crime. And these laws are actually making the criminal believe that less of us are being armed because less of us are armed today due to the laws such as what they're passing in Oregon and Washington here.
But it's also mainstream media just totally trashing gun ownership. Even, it's like everything else. You can show all these laws, all these places in the country that have very strong gun laws, not strong, where citizens have guns, you don't find the crime.
Right.
And there's been books written about this, where the citizens have guns, you don't find the crime. I'm from Montana, and you got a lot less crime up there, even though there's a lot less people too. But people know you don't go trying to get into somebody's house and not figure you're going to get shot. But there's also now you're getting all these there's no longer the castle law that your home is your castle. If you shoot somebody in your house and you don't kill them, they'll probably sue you.
Right.
So,
and if you think about it, if you don't have the castle doctrine, you're actually making it less safe for criminals, because people are going to definitely shoot them and kill them, other than, wanting to live with the liability of them surviving the act and having to sue you later. You know what I mean?
when I moved here to Tennessee and I had to go get a new permit, and you have to take a class, the teacher basically said, look, if you're at the mall and somebody's coming after you and you shoot them, you better make sure you shoot them dead so they can't get up and sue you. I mean, just what you said.
Yep. And we do have a form of the Castle Doctrine here in Oregon. However, I don't know if you've been keeping up with it, but they've been passing a lot of draconian laws over here in the Northwest. I know, California is just getting ridiculous, but they passed that red flag law here. And the one thing that really was odd about it, that nothing in the law gives a directive to make sure that these people go through any mental health evaluations. And in fact, here's the situation that will happen. They will come to your house after getting a complaint. They will take your guns, and then they'll leave the person who they took the guns from in the house with the people that he may suspect are the ones who turned him in for being a possible danger to them or anyone else. And there's no medical treatment for this person who's now left with the people that he suspects of turning him in. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, and even before that, there's no medical evaluation.
Right.
And so this person, like you say, I mean, there's probably a lot of knives still in the house. It's unbelievable when you think about it, because, as I say in the article, we don't have fangs and claws. We're not huge. So we have our brain, which designs tools to protect us.
Right.
And the main tool we have is a gun, and to have the Second Amendment being destroyed as fast as it is in this country is just overwhelming. I know probably 10 years ago I wrote an article when, trying to get people to wake up and stand up against these things, and I get all these guys saying, oh, come on, Kathleen, we got the guns. We're going to be there when we need to be there. We're going to save the day. And I'm like, the day is almost over, and they still haven't given you cause to bring out your guns. They're going to have taken away all our rights before you even realize it.
And that's a very good point. I want to go further on that point because I got a few more questions to you, but I got to pay some bills. Can you hang on till after the commercial break?
Of course.
All right, we'll be right back with that.
Stop in today to the all-new one-stop gun shop, Hole-in-the-Wall Gun Shop in Coos Bay. Your area leader in quality.
Is Rob Taylor.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining me right now. We're talking to Kathleen Marquardt. She is the vice president of the American Policy Center, and we're discussing gun laws. And one of the things we were discussing before the commercial was how people were talking about, don't worry about them taking our gun laws. We'll be there to protect you. We'll be standing up, and you hear that from a lot of guys all the time, and they'll have their camouflage on. Oh, no need to worry about it. But the problem is that government doesn't work like that, especially this type of government. It's all done through incrementalism. And so with these red flag laws, they're not going to disarm us all at once. They're going to do it one small person at a time. And I think part of the reason they're doing this is I myself, maybe this is a conspiracy theory, I believe they are eroding and eliminating the right to own property. And the only way that they can impose the eventual elimination of property rights is by taking away our ability to defend ourselves. Now, Kathleen, would you agree with that assessment, or do you have your own assessment on that?
I would agree with you totally. But what you have to understand, you said the right word, incrementalism. They are taking it, except the incrementalism is even speeded up now. They're taking away our property rights through laws, restrictions, fees, taxes, everything you can imagine. And now they want to do away with the single family home in America, and they keep taking away more and more and more, and people are just they're being absolutely destroyed in this country, and we get so many people calling help. They're taking my farm, but they're taking everything away from you, and you're going to have nothing left. I mean, maybe a lot of people will have hidden their guns, but what is your gun going to be able to do when there's nothing to defend?
Right.
When you don't have a home, when you don't even have a car. I mean, cars are going to go before the houses are.
Right, and that's one of my worries. They talk about these self-driving cars, and what I see is eventually they will try to eliminate the ownership of individual independent cars for the average person, and we'll all be forced to have to take these communal self-driving cars when they get the roads, up to that point. Of course, they can't even fix the potholes where I live, but you know what I mean?
Absolutely, and they want to do away with cars, period, by 2040,
right.
Which doesn't give you mobility. You get to take a train, or maybe they'll have buses to go somewhere. No, they're going to have trains. Well, you've seen California and what they're doing with their train system.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. They're going to put everybody into cities where they can control them, and, that's the end.
And right now, there are a lot of people who can't even travel through the airways because they've been listed on a no-fly list. And that's one of the things that I worried about when they started that, because like you said, when they start pushing us towards public transportation, some of us aren't going to be allowed to be green carded to go across the states or across the nation because of, maybe our political views, or maybe because we're just not the right people. I can see this happening in the future, and I see this as part of, and you've written about this, Agenda 21, 2030.
Absolutely. All these things, they're restricting us every day. And even in your local community, they're rewriting all the codes, the building code here. They say, oh, well, it's 50 years old. Well, it's not 50 years old. They've upgraded it every year. So,
right.
But they're changing so many of the areas that people have businesses in that they can't have those businesses in if this code gets it. And I keep telling people, you have to stand up now. If you don't stand up now, you've just lost so much more of your rights. And people don't know how to stand up. It's easy. We just have to start marching on them. We take 50 people, 100 people to the city council meeting, and we say, you listen to us. We so far still elect you. We haven't gotten to the regional boards yet, which we're going to be having very soon if people don't speak up at their local councils and take control of them. But even when you do, even when you go and speak out, you have to have enough people there that they feel it and that the media picks up on it. Otherwise, they don't care. And one example is, several months ago, L.A. decided to ban fur in L.A. And you say...
I'm sorry. Could you say that again? They banned fur in L.A.? In Los Angeles?
The sale of fur, it takes effect, I don't know when. But let me tell you, I took every point that they used for why they were going to ban the sale of fur, and I showed how every point was a lie. And they stood up and they used those points and banned it anyway. So it doesn't matter. You have the truth on your side. You got to have more than the truth. We have to be out there making noise and making them feel that they don't get to just walk away like they're doing right now.
And that's all part of empowering yourself. I don't know if you've heard maybe some of the openings. I jokingly call myself a political therapist. And part of the reason is many times a lot of people will call me just like they call you. And by the time they call me, it's almost like I'm talking them off the edge at this point. I'm trying to talk them in and calm them down, because by the time they get to me, they're angry and they're upset and they're complaining about the city doing this or the county doing this to them. And so one of the things that I agree with what you're talking about, it's not just enough that we make noise, but we got to get a little more organized, and we got to start building up the opposition to this, because I don't see that happening in this country. Do you have any ideas how maybe we can start something like that?
Well, in some places I know it's a whole lot easier than others. In Montana, it was easy. The different patriot groups in Montana, that for years they've been putting things together. They have you get to sign up for what do you want to work on, Second Amendment rights, private property rights, whatever. But like here in Knoxville, we have this big thing going on, and it's like you can't, we've got to be reasoned. You can't reason. We cannot, I just said, we cannot reason. You cannot show them that these are lies. It doesn't matter. They don't care, because they have these rules to put through, and 90% of your elected people are already on the payroll of Agenda 21 or 2030, and
right.
They're going to do what they're told, whether they're bought out or threatened or what. They still caving. So you just have to get some activists together and start. Once you start showing them you've got something. I mean, you don't have to be a Joey Bishop,
right?
But he's effective. He is effective.
You mean Joey Gibson?
I mean Joey Gibson. Sorry.
Yeah, I like Joey Bishop too. He was good with Dean Martin and them, but
yeah, I know. I keep calling him the wrong name.
I did too at the beginning. How funny! But we're showing our age when we do that,
I know. Well, I'm road hard and put the wet, so I'm old enough. I don't care.
All right, I like that. I like that attitude. Can you hold on? I'm going to go to another commercial break, and when we get back, I have just a few more things I want to talk to you about, if that'd be okay.
Sure.
All right. Well, with that, we'll be right back.
Okay.
For 20 years, the Oregon Firearms Federation has been Oregon's only no-compromise voice for gun rights. While other organizations who claim to speak for gun owners made deals to bargain away your liberty and property, often stood face-to-face with the gun grabbers in Salem to protect your rights. But there's never been a more dangerous time to be a gun owner in Oregon, and we need your help. To become part of the fight for Second Amendment rights and to sign up for free legislative alerts, please visit our website at OregonFirearms.org. That's OregonFirearms.org.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Genucel right now is having their 50% off limited time sale. It's their half-price clearance sale. And if you order Genucel to get rid of bags and puffiness under your eyes, you'll also get Chamonix's brand new Platinum Tan Enhancing Body Lotion. That's a free gift. Perfect hydration, tan, and protection to rejuvenate, hydrate, maintain that bright summer glow with a lotion unlike anything you can buy in any store. So sit back, relax, enjoy the beach with the best-looking skin possible and no bags or puffiness under your eyes. They're gone. Everybody I know that's tried Genucel from Chamonix loves it.
We're back in session. It's the Rob Taylor Report. And here he is, Rob Taylor.
Well, thank you for joining us, Coos County. We are talking to Kathleen Marquardt from the American Policy Center, and one of the things that she mentioned was Joey Gibson. She called him Joey Bishop, but that's okay. I completely understand. I used to do it myself. And one of the things that me and her, I guess we have an agreement on this, is that he is at least getting out there and getting recognition just for doing something so basic as having a prayer service in the middle of Portland. I mean, Kathleen, could you ever imagine in your life that people would be getting attacked for having a prayer service in a city?
Who would have ever thought that? This country was based on Judeo-Christian traditions.
Yep.
But this is, one of the things I wanted to say right before we got off is the most important thing is for people to learn about Agenda 21 2030. They don't need to learn everything. You can't learn everything about it because they keep adding things every day. But if you understand their basic core of reducing the human population by 90%, getting rid of property rights and freedom, and the social and redistribution of wealth. And if you can understand those, how they're doing all that, then you can start fighting it. But you can't fight anything if you don't know what it is.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's something, you know, of course, we always get told that we're conspiracy theorists if we talk about Agenda 21, yet it is something that they have books written on from the United Nations. There's the ICLEI program. And, you know, something I receive probably every couple of weeks is I get a newsletter from the ICLEI website. Could you explain to people what ICLEI is and how it's affecting us here, right here in Oregon, and everyone else in their communities?
Yes, ICLEI stands for International, International Control of Local Environmental Initiatives.
Right.
It's based in Germany, and yet they say everything is local. That's their big thing.
Yep.
And that's why they changed their name to Local Sustainability or something. They've changed their name several times, and I can't remember.
Right. It was something like that. Yeah, local sustainable something. Yeah, you're right.
So what they are doing is they're getting governments to sign on to their thing, and you end up paying, and you get gold stars or green stars, I can't remember which, every time you pass one of their things, like reducing the carbon output from cars, just everything imaginable. People using less water, don't flush your toilet unless you really have to, all those things.
Right.
Everything. ICLEI is just one of the gazillions of things they're throwing at us. The wonderful thing is many cities that signed on to ICLEI have left it because it's so onerous on people.
Yeah, and I saw that it was so nice that a lot of cities are leaving that. We're getting to the point where I'm going to have to let you go. We're going to have to go on to another section of the show. But before I go, I appreciate you coming on. This was very, very enlightening for us. But I would like you to go ahead and tell everyone where they can find out more information about this and more about your American Policy Institute before we run out.
Okay, it's American Policy Center. It's AmericanPolicy.org. That's simple as it can be.
You got it.
AmericanPolicy.org.
Thank you. You know, it was funny. When I called over there, Tom DeWeese answered the phone. And
he told me.
and I was like, oh, my gosh, is this really Tom? I've been following you for 25 years. And I was all excited because I didn't think he would answer the phone. You know what I mean? I was expecting a secretary or office helper. So I was real excited. And so I definitely want to have you back on the show to talk more about ICLEI and Agenda 2030. And I definitely will have Tom on, too. He said he'd be more than happy. So I appreciate you guys doing all that you've done.
Well, we appreciate all you talk radio shows out there that are waking people up so that we can take off our tinfoil hats.
Thank you. Thank you, Kathleen. And we'll catch you next time. All right. With that, folks, I'll see you. We got Jim coming on. And wait a minute. I'm sorry. I apologize. We don't have a food for thought today. How odd. That's okay. We'll get Jim on next week, and we'll see what he has to say. But if you want to win a contest, because it's the second hour and we're having that second contest, and of course we're having it for Lucky Star, the Chinese restaurant at the bottom of the hill of Newmark and Highway 101. This house special includes barbecue pork, sweet and sour pork, fried shrimp, spring roll, pork fried rice, and pork chow mein. If you want to be a recipient of this dinner, and let me tell you, you're going to need to bring a friend when you do, you need to be the third caller at 541-267-2124. And with that, we'll be right back.
Looking for a new or used firearm? You should get to know the friendly folks at World Pawn Exchange. Located at 1980 Sherman in downtown North Bend, World Pawn Exchange buys, sells, and trades firearms of all types. And with their extensive, ever-changing inventory, they could have just the right firearm for you. If they don't have that gun that you want in stock, they'll be more than happy to special order it for you. World Pawn Exchange in downtown North Bend, where you'll find more than you can possibly imagine.
Spring and for your next service or repair at Bice Auto. They specialize in engine diagnostics, performance, brakes, steering, and suspension, alignments, canopies, exhaust services, accessories, and more. Take care of your vehicle, and it will take care of you. For your car, truck, or motorhome, call Bice Auto for all your maintenance needs. Bice Auto, 269-2700.
The clear leader, Herbal Choices. Join the Herbal Choices happy family for best selection. 100 strains, always fresh. Unlike stores that always have the same old products, there's always something new at Herbal Choices. 100 strains and growing. And check Jim Belushi's new harvest. Just in again and better than ever at Herbal Choices. Coos Bay, Charleston, and Bandon. And online at theherbalchoices.com.
Hey, Jim Belushi here. Herbal Choices on the southern Oregon coast is where you can find my new harvest. Belushi's Private Vault. Check it out.
And reasons are clear. With 100 strains, Herbal Choices sells so much product that everything is always fresh. And there seems to be something new every time I see my Herbal Choices happy family. All our friends agree. The clear winner is Herbal Choices. The only choice.
Check it out. It's the only choice.
Do not operate a vehicle under the influence of marijuana. For use by people 21 and older, keep out of the reach of children.
We're back in session. It's the Rob Taylor Report. And here he is, Rob Taylor.
Hey, everybody. I'm glad you're joining me. I want to remind you again that tomorrow is Election Day. I'm not given any advice on who to vote for. I had Dallas Piedenbrink and I think it was Kathleen's, I forget her name, Miss Simpson. I forget her name. I think it was Kathleen Simpson and Dallas Piedenbrink. And they were on a couple of weeks ago. They're running for position 4, and it's a 2-year term. And I think both of them were great. Dallas is a friend of mine. If I was a voting guy and I lived in North Bend, I'd probably vote for him, even though both of them were very nice people. And the other person that came on was Eric Gleason, who came on for position 7. And he was the other one who was running in a contested race. And the only reason I had him on was because the guy he's running against was kind of a jerk on the phone, didn't want to come on the radio. He doesn't want to turn the school board into a media circus. In other words, he doesn't want any transparency. He doesn't want you asking questions. So whoever's running against Eric Gleason, I'd vote against that guy and vote for Eric, even though that I don't agree with everything he said. We probably had a few differences ourselves. But that's just some of the things that I would give as advice. If there's any tax increases or there are any new regulations, vote against them. I don't think anyone is doing that. That's something right now that I don't see on any of the ballots, but you never know when that could happen. So that's tomorrow. Get those ballots in, and it's too late to mail them in. So make sure that you go ahead and get to the actual polling place, which is either at the city hall or for the county, you can go to the county clerk's office and take care of that. One of the things that I thought was kind of interesting that was going on is we still have the legislature in session. If you want to find out more what's happening in Salem, you need to go to the Oregon Legislature website where you can get on OLIS, OLIS, that's the abbreviation for that site on the state legislature website. And that page will give you all the access to Senate bills, House bills, and how your representative is voting. The nice thing about it is if you go on to OLIS, you can track the bill, especially a gun bill. You can sign up to get notices on specific bills. So that's always a good thing. I don't know if you guys saw that video of the lady in Las Vegas who pushed the elderly man off the bus. It was an incredible video. I don't know if you guys seen this, but yeah, just type in woman throws or pushes man off a bus in Las Vegas, and you'll get this video of this woman who got on the bus in Las Vegas, and she started yelling and screaming at passengers, and the guy getting off the bus was an elderly gentleman, and he told her to be nice to the other passengers, and as he was getting off the bus, she shoved him, and he went flying off the bus into his little cart, and later on, he died from his injuries. But the amazing thing is if you watch this video, nobody got off the bus to help him. What is the matter with humanity today? Nobody stopped the bus. Nobody got onto that woman for pushing the guy. And here's the thing that really ticked me off, is it was probably the most hateful thing I have ever seen. Yet, the woman who did the pushing was a young black woman. And the guy who got pushed was an elderly white man. And she didn't call him any racial epithets. But if she would have called him a racial epithet, say, as she pushed him, she called him white trash or whatever, and she made those racial slurs, she would have got an enhanced sentence for committing a hate crime. And I think that's absolutely wrong, because those hate crimes are diminishing the real crime that occurred, which was the assault. It doesn't matter what was in her heart when she pushed the old guy. It doesn't matter what she was feeling. Hell, she could have done it just in a jokingly manner, but if you do that, you should have to suffer the consequences. That's why I don't believe in hate laws. We need to pass laws based on force or fraud. If someone forces you to do something against your will or uses force against you unwillingly against your will, then you have a right to be protected, protect yourself, or have the police step up and the justice system do its job. But the thing is hate is an emotion. It cannot be a crime. One of the things I always try to keep up with on this show is the wacky space races. I was going to have a nice intro for you, but I haven't quite got it done. But China's lunar rover makes an unexpected discovery on the far side of the moon. You know what the incredible thing about this is that China has a rover on the dark side of the moon. That should be America's rover. What happened to this country? They're saying that they're going to send people back into space by 2025, but we should have been there already. We should have been there since 1969. We should already have those space bases. Of course, some people think we do already have those space bases, but obviously we don't, because the China lunar rover didn't find any of our bases on there. But while they were studying the South Pole of Aiken, the basin reveals the secrets of the lunar mantle. In research published in the journal Nature on May 16th, scientists from the National Astronomical Observatories of Chinese Academy of Sciences revealed that the composition of the lunar surface at the South Pole Aiken Basin is a little different to what was expected. One core theory posits that the moon was not always quite as cold and dead as it is today. Instead, it likely began as a giant molten marble of magma oceans. Boy, I should have practiced this a little bit better. These oceans gradually cooled, depositing heavy minerals such as green-colored olivine and the low-calcium pyroxene deeper into the lunar mantle. Less dense minerals floated to the top, giving the moon a series of obvious geological layers like a cosmic onion. Well, this is the incredible thing, is that understanding the composition of the mantle gives a planetary scientist more insight into how the interiors of other planetary bodies work. And that's important because I can tell you right now, we're going to space. It's going to happen. Eventually, it's going to happen. I know Rush Limbaugh was poo-pooing on it the other day on his show, but I believe that at some point in time, there is going to be a generation, that maybe not the next generation, but the generation after next, who's going to be traveling the galaxy. It's going to happen, just like the seas in the 1400s. Those who control the seas control the world. It's just a natural thing that's going to happen. I had the gentleman from Open the Books on, Andrew Angikovsky, and he had a new report from the Watch Group. And I don't know if you guys heard about this, but federal funding for Fortune 100 companies They just got $400 billion in grants and contracts. Yeah, isn't that nice? And it was funded by you, the American taxpayer. It's no wonder that when new members show up in Congress, they quickly stop representing their constituents' values, of course, because they're representing the lobbyists. Their vote has been won by a higher bidder, of course. In total, the Fortune 100 received $399 billion in federal funding over this 4-year period. A vast majority of the funds came through contracts. However, a substantial $3.2 billion flowed on federal grants, meaning that nobody has to pay these back. These are public giveaway to these top corporations. For example, AT&T spent $63.7 million to lobby on 434 bills, including legislation affecting telecom regulations, data sharing guidelines, and drone regulations, and more. That's the AT&T. $63 million on that. Yeah, I think they're going to get something for that money. During this period, the top 10 companies in the Fortune 100, ranked by total payout, received $338 billion from federal agencies. Case study examples in our report included Lockheed Martin, Boeing Corps, General Electric, and more. The report quantified $1.2 trillion in federal funding flowed to the Fortune 100 between 2000 and 2012. With the updated figures, it is estimated $1.8 trillion over the last 18 years in taxpayer money funded grants, loans, contracts, direct payments, and farm subsidies, all to elite corporations. Now, I don't know about you, but corporations don't pay taxes. Businesses don't pay taxes, and it's probably not good to put too much tax on them, but to just downright give them money is insane. These grants, this is like the urban renewal. And if you listen to the lady who was just on here, she wrote an article about urban renewal, talking about how urban renewal destroys your property rights. It's funny how she wrote this article several months ago, but it's been something I've been preaching for the last 20 years, that these type of development schemes are nothing more but a way to erode property rights for the average citizen. And it gives them more power to the city council or the county commissioners when you have these urban renewal agencies or these other development schemes, these smart development schemes. We were talking about ICLEI and how they're part of the Agenda 21, Agenda 2030. Well, all of that is very real stuff, and it's affecting your life. In fact, I would argue that a lot of these Agenda 2020, 21, Agenda 2030 rules that have been implemented by many different cities and counties is the reason for the cause of the homelessness that we have right now. We have plenty of building material in this country. We have plenty of space for these people to build houses. The problem is that they cost too much to build those houses, and it costs too much money to develop the area around it, and therefore developers aren't developing land. Construction companies aren't building houses. So what do? You get rid of the regulations, you get rid of the rules, you get rid of Agenda 21. And if you hear that music, folks, it sounds like I'm just about out of here. So if you want to get more information, go to CoosCountyWatchdog.com and please sign the SASO petition. It would do you good. And until then, you all carry on. Okay, Coos County, carry on till next week.
This is 630.